What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Leave It to Judges MMA show with the boys Nick and Xavier. Guys, today we are going to be going over UFC Qatar. We're going to be talking about the 170 and 150-pound weight divisions and what's next for their title holders. Guys, let's start in the main event. Arman Sarukian beats Dan Hooker, gets him out of there in the second round. Now, we all did pick Arman Sarukian to beat Dan Hooker, but what were your guys' thoughts of what we saw from Arman in there? It was very impressive, crazy scrambles. What did you guys see in there?
I saw a domination, man. That's the best way to put it. Um, Shout out Dan Hooker for those gillies. Like had one of those gillies in real deep. I was like, oh man. But yeah, when Armin just kind of like rotated his body like 360. Well, I guess yeah, 360. He went all the way around. Like gave his back for like 2 seconds. Kept rotating around like a rotisserie chicken, bro. Ended up on top. I was like, okay, Arman's here. He's not gonna get fucking subbed by Dan Hooker. Like, if he would have got subbed by Dan Hooker, like he would never touch that belt in his career, no matter what else he did. So I'm glad that he realized the urgency of the situation because it was almost over for him, his whole title hopes. But instead, he looked really impressive. I think he really solidified himself as the number one contender at 155 for Ilya. And I think that Ilya has to fight him, to be honest, at this point. He didn't take that much damage, barely any in this fight. So it's not like he's gonna be out. You can't blame like the timeline or anything like that. Like you got to get him in there. As much as I want to fuck with the Patty fight, like I want to see that on paper, but like Armin deserves this title shot.
It was a domination, not a real shock, because I always thought Dan Hooker was dog water, especially in the wrestling and grappling. So wasn't shocked at all. Uh, Very impressive scrambles though throughout by Zarzugan again. Looked strong in there. Um, and got a pretty easy finish, I thought, at the end of the day, and that earns yourself a title shot. The Patty fight might be bigger in terms of a rivalry, I think. But I would even say the Armin, Ilya rivalry is heating up a little bit. So I do think there is something there. He should have gotten the title fight when he came back, in my opinion. Um, but now he deserves it. In my book, he just had to win one fight. I don't really see. I mean, there's just no one else at the top there that deserves it over him. And the closest, I mean, they moved Patty up to five, so maybe that tells us something. But uh, yeah, Armin's the next title challenger. I still think Taporia slumpy dumps him personally. I think he's all right, but is he the next champ? We will see.
Yeah, you kind Armin was kind of on dirt with the UFC by what was it? Yeah, he missed. He had to pull out versus the Islam fight, so he kind of had to win this fight to get back in the good graces. I agree with you guys. I think Armin should be next. I think it's just also the most interesting fight on paper, probably the most competitive. I think Patty's close, but we just haven't seen enough from him. I think this firmly puts Justin Gaethje out of the title picture, like firmly. We all said we want Armin. We think it should be Armin. What does the UFC do? Do they do the Patty thing? It's probably a bigger fight, but Armin has more like it's more validity to it. What do you guys think is gonna happen?
I mean, this is like unpopular, but like throw Patty Gaethje in a definite number one contender. You can just call it that outright. If you just call it that outright, I think Gaethje will do that, bitch. I know he says that like he's like holding out for a title shot, woo woo. I think if you give him like a very clear promise, like a public declaration, like that he will
Yeah,
get a title shot, you know what I mean? If he gets this win against Patty,
I love that.
You give Patty the chance to prove himself against like one of the top guys of the old guard, who's like not shown to be like washed yet. Um, And it's like, man, that's a big name on the resume. You take out Gaethje, no one can deny you the next title shot. You let Arman and Ilya hash it out, and then the winner, does that. Like, obviously, some type of Islam getting thrown in this equation, White House scenario could, like, put you on the back burner a little bit. But, like, if you're the number one contender, you can get on the back burner a little bit, especially if you're Patty and you're, like, a little younger. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, my instincts tell me here that Patty might get it. The only reason is they moved Patty all the way up to number 5 randomly here, which just kind of feels like he was all the way at 8, I believe, like, and they just moved him up 3 spots without fighting. I don't know. That just feels like a move for the UFC to do before like making a title fight. Just push someone up the rankings so it just looks a little better. So I think Patty's gonna get it, honestly. I think he will. And I think, Justin Gaethje is the one who's gonna get screwed here in this situation.
But
Uh,
is he really getting screwed though?
he's gonna lose to all these guys. So honestly, I just don't want to see him in a title fight. He isn't getting screwed at all, but in his mind, he is.
Um.
Was his
Okay. So
last fight the physique fight?
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, beating physique does not by itself get you a title shot. After your like coming off the fucking max knockout, you need at least 2 wins to get back in that mix, I feel.
It's that Ali privilege, bro. That Ali's privilege.
Man, Ali's a fucking greedy fuck, and
He's
he's
just
trying
the
to
GOAT
fucking.
manager, apparently.
He's just fucking juggling all these guys. Oh, why doesn't Islam fight Kamaru? Why isn't fucking?
Then
He's just trying
Gaethje
to
gets the
double
winner.
dip on every fight, bro. He wants his grubby fucking mungy hands and in every fucking fight purse, and it's disgusting.
So we all, I think we all agree because you guys were kind of shitting on him. Gaethje definitely is like the least threatening to Ilya. Who has a better shot and why of beating Ilya between Patty and Arman? What do you guys see in there?
I mean, am I willing to completely say that Justin Gaethje's a lesser threat than Patty? I don't know if I'm willing to admit that. Just because I do feel like there is a chance, and I don't want to see this happen, but like there is a chance. Like Patty does have some bad striking tendencies in terms of leaving that chin up in the air. And I do think that Justin Gaethje's striking is a lot more technical than Patty's. Um,
For
and
sure.
it could like lead to him like he's fought a lot more fights like on the feet, stand up wars, boxing it out. Whereas I feel like I don't 100% trust Patty to win that type of a fight without mixing in his grappling and shit. So I'm not 100% willing to like just write Gaethje off as a bigger threat than Patty. But I do think that Arman for sure is a bigger threat than both of them.
Yeah, pretty simple here. I think Armin's easily the biggest threat out of the three. In terms of strength, submission ability, he's all right on the feet, doesn't do anything crazy really.
Youth and momentum as well. Youth and momentum is big. In the sport of like will sometimes it's about will, it's about grit. Like Justin Gaethje has already been defeated so many times. Like you can argue like, he can have a Charles like run on paper. You can argue that because a lot of people have, hit little strides or pockets in their career where they like used to give up in the past but they don't anymore. But like I just will say, like, there's something about being like on the rise, Patty undefeated in the UFC, like Jared Gordon, no matter what that was in reality, but like functionally undefeated. Like he has that aura of invincibility that comes with being undefeated, and I think that you start to believe it as well. And that does kind of make you a little bit more of a threat to me. Like if you haven't really lost in the UFC, like I think that you ugh, are just more you are less likely to like accept bad positions and shit like that. Like just give up rounds, like lay on your back if it's not going your way. You know what I mean? Just be happy to make it to the bell. Like you're gonna be trying to get up, throwing up submissions for real, fighting with a little more urgency. I feel like so off the strength of that, I do think Patty could be an interesting fight for Ilya as well.
I think Petty is way over Gaethje at this point. My thing with Gaethje is this man was supposed to be like a college wrestler, and I swear he has nothing on the ground every time I've seen him there
Yeah,
in that situation, and I can't trust him in these fights. Like the striking's nice, he'll always be crazy and violent and all that, but versus like Topuria, we're gonna challenge that area of the game after Max Holloway just kind of beat him up, beat him around. So no matter what for Gaethje, I don't think this goes well for him.
I agree.
And I think and that's fine. I think he's had a great career and he's about to retire soon for sure. Like I kind of don't imagine him staying around that much longer.
He was an interim champ. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, for sure.
He's
So
Bonus King.
yeah, I don't think he should get the title shot. If he wants it to be his last fight and they want to throw him a bone, then go ahead. But I don't know. I think Pimlet's a way bigger threat right now. And just the aura of another division. He was a very known fighter who got brought over to the UFC, and he's answered the bell every time, as far as I've seen.
all right.
Wait, real quick before we end this fight. I do think that there is something to be said for like the concept of like adding a name to the resume as well, though. And I think that like that is a bit of underrated aspect of the sport that we like in the moment you underrate it, but then when you look back historically, you don't like you rate it like properly type shit. And I think that like fighters that like actually are pursuing greatness in this sport, like a John Jones, like a Ilya, like a Islam, I think that you have to kind of think about these things where it's like the same way John Jones is like, man, like that Alex Pereira, like, he's a legend in the sport. Like that name on the resume will like stand the test of time. You know what I mean? I think that there's something to the UFC being like, I've seen it before where they like to give a prospect a legend because it's like a good name on their resume, even though they know damn well that that legend passed their prime and probably gonna get smoked by the prospect. That's damn near what they want. Like if the UFC were to put him Gaethje against Patty, and they know Gaethje has one foot out the door, they're gonna want Patty to win that fight, damn near get a finish. Therefore, like he can kind of steal some of his like juju. You know what I mean? Steal his like momentum, steal his like fanfare and shit. That's kind of how the sport always goes. Like when we look at why John Jones is the GOAT, it's because you look back at all the great like lightweight champions that he mowed down on his run. It's like, damn, all these guys were like established champions of their own volition. You know what I mean? And a lot of the time, when you have like one of the divisions that are a little bit underdeveloped, you end up with underappreciated champions because it's like, damn, let's say like if you're a Mighty Mouse of your division, you beat all these contenders, but because no one was really seen as a threat to you, then like you don't even rate how good these guys actually are type shit. You know what I mean? So like there is something to be like said for like Islam wanting to fight a Kamaru Usman, like wanting that name on the resume. You know what I mean? Like I kind of understand it from their perspective. Like I get like as a MMA purist, like damn, being like damn, some of these old heads are not the damn they're not the best guys in the world currently, you know, and wanting to see the best fights. But from a legacy perspective, like if you could catch an old Braun and smack him in the finals, would you not want to do that versus going up against Giannis in his prime? You know what I mean? You could be like, I beat Braun, even though he might be old as fuck. You know what I mean? But like for the story, it just sounds better sometimes.
it's a very much like a boxing thing. Very much a boxing thing, I feel like. That's a good comparison. All right, guys. We got a lot to talk about and another division in terms of title challengers. Let's move to 170. Ian Garry defeats Bilal Muhammad. I forgot the exact scorecards. I personally had it 30-27, but he just was a step ahead. Really good anti-grappling. I think he's a fighter that uses his height very well. He outstruck Bilal. Bilal didn't look terrible in there. I thought his striking looked decent. I thought he should have probably wrestled more, but I thought Ian Garry won 3-0. How'd you guys score the fight?
Story of his life these days, huh? Story of his life. And he wrestled more in this fight, damn near I felt than he did against JDM for sure. He was trying in there. He was pushing the clinch at least. Like he was trying to fucking do something. I no, I thought Bilal came to fight. I think that the narratives, he's hearing the chirps, you know what I mean? He's always known that like people fucking hate him for no reason. Like and sometimes for good reason. Sometimes he's a fuck, but like I feel like a lot of the hate that Bilal gets, like we fuck around with Bilal and shit, we give him shit, like we don't fuck with him that heavy, but like I don't actually like hate Bilal and like actually think he's shit, you know what I mean? But like I think that like there are people way worse than us, and we have not always been the kindest to the man, but
No, we have not.
well, I'm saying not at all. But he hears the chirps is my point. Like, you know what I mean? He understands like people want to prey on his downfall. And I mean, I think that he's like for a long time thrived on proving the doubters wrong. But now he's getting up there in age, a little long in the tooth, man. And these guys are coming, and I think that I've seen a lot of effort in this fight. Like I do think that Bilal is not a guy that's like phoning it in. You know what I mean? I think he is trying to like win these fights and shit. Like I just think that the sport is kind of passing him by a little bit. You know what I mean? And to be quite frank, I thought he's been overachieving as many times as like I've seen him like upset my parlay when I thought he was gonna fucking lose. Like, I think he's been overachieving, and I think that the sport has finally just caught up with him. So I don't want to like before we praise Garry, which we definitely have to praise him in this fight. He looked like pretty good. But I will just have to also give Bilal his flowers here. You know what I mean? It's like he actually went out there and pushed Ian Garry, made Ian Garry actually like have to dig deep in there a little bit. Like he didn't just roll over and get sparked the way like I kind of like part of me thought that there was a chance he could have got sparked in there. So I'm proud of him for like gritting his way through and fighting, making the rounds competitive at least.
I just think Ian Gary is the better fighter. I think that's just what we saw out there. Both guys, I think Bilal's still in his prime. I think this is just the same Bilal that has been fighting the whole time. They're both in their prime. Ian Gary stops every takedown, which wow, 7 takedowns in 3 rounds. In the JDM fight, I mean, he might have shot like two in the first 3.5 of the fight, but who knows? And Ian just stuffed all of them. And once I saw that, I just knew it was GG's for Bilal. As improved as he's gone in the striking, he's just clearly not good enough with these like upper level guys in the especially just a boxing game. Like Bilal's just not throwing anything else but hands. Like that's basically it. And Ian was picking his shots well. I liked that foot stomp he was doing on Bilal's leg. He even took him out off his feet at one point. I think it was the third round, I believe.
Great, great fucking oblique kicks, the John Jones ones, like the fucking knee extenders. Like he was on those bitches. I was like, okay, like the one thing I will say I noticed off Ian Gary that I wrote down in my notes for this fight is like I feel like he definitely is a student of the game. Like when I watch him fight, I see a lot of influences from different fighters. Like he definitely tries to constantly evolve himself and constantly tries to um like take from other fighters like what works. Like other lanky fighters like John Jones, he's using some of like the similar tactics to his advantage. And I was definitely like, okay, like I can see where he actually like is more than just a loudmouth, you know, which I already knew, but like this, like the way I'm seeing him, like every fight add weapons to his arsenal, like I have to give him that. Like he does look like he does dedicate time to the crabs.
Also, by the way, that is what you call a Berlin Wall takedown defense, Ed. Not JDM's 4 for 9 that we were all overhyping the whole month. So, I'm just saying, Ian, I know you don't like the man, but clearly better than your boy from what
At takedown defenses, sure, but JDM has won a belt. Ian Gary has not, and Ian Gary's never winning a belt. By the way, I
he
hope you guys realize that.
because he beat Bilal, Ed. We might as well put an asterisk on it right now until he gets it back.
No, no. He won the belt. JDM has belt. Ian Gary's never touching a belt. Also, this whole Bilal wrestling thing, it just kind of hit me while you guys were talking. He hasn't shot enough for us in the last two fights because he's fighting really young, hungry, up and coming contenders who I think are just giving his style a lot of problems. I think Xavier said it. The game's just catching up to him. Like that style was working against guys like Leon Burns. It's just not working against the new crop. That just kind of clicked in
I
my head.
also think that like a big thing that we don't acknowledge when we say a fighter's still in his prime, like Clark just said that Bilal's still in his prime, like what really tends to happen if you notice with these guys, man, young guys like to wrestle. Wrestling kind of a young man's game, bro. These older guys, like they don't really want to fucking get down there and wrestle as much. And I see all these so-called wrestlers morph their way into strikers late into their career, and they think that they're being slick. They think that like, oh, the wrestling threat's there. They might shoot one a surprise takedown here or there. But like, come on, I'm looking at you, Kamaru Usman. I'm looking at you, Kobe Covington. I'm looking at you, fucking Bilal. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to acknowledge that, like, sometimes, like, when these fighters just through the course of their career stop shooting takedowns, like the takedowns start getting less and less, and they simultaneously are developing their striking, but like choosing to like not go to the wrestling in times where they clearly would have in the past, or where like they clearly have an advantage, or times where like it clearly would behoove them to try, like, and they're just not doing it. Sometimes that is age. You know what I mean? That is age. Like, if you look at DC, I was watching DC versus Stipe recently. Like, that trilogy. That is age. You think a young DC is not going to be way more on the wrestling? He would be, but it's like, no, he said that his back was all fucked. He could barely wrestle at that point. You know what I mean? But like, on paper, though, you know what I mean? You watch the embeddeds, you watch the damn fight promotion. It's like, oh yeah, I have wrestling. I have wrestling. When fighters know that their wrestling is shot, the knees are shot, the back is shot. You know what I mean? They know they're coming in that base to strike for 3 rounds. So it's like sometimes like that is age. Like when people just like wean off the like you can't like I think that if you put like a young Bilal, like let's say Bilal like 4 years ago, 3 years ago in there, like he's shooting takedowns. Like even if the style like is a little bit better from these young guys, the defense is a little better. He's gonna be shooting the takedowns because that's his game. You know what I mean? That's like one of his strengths, his cardio, his wrestling, his pressure. But I think that like when you get old, it just gets harder and harder to like push that wrestling pace. You know what I mean? The knees just don't react. Like I feel like by wrestling a lot, grappling a lot, you damn near like up your risk of like tearing a knee in there and shit. You know what I mean? So it's like these guys just get on their striking shit, man.
Yeah, it's definitely harder to wrestle for a long time than strike, probably. But I'll give Ian credit here. The same thing I said for JDM. I don't think there's any version of Bilal that goes in there and beats Ian Gary that night. I feel like Ian Gary was just a step ahead the whole night. Even if Bilal did wrestle more, I think Ian Gary would have beat him. Let's move on though for Ian Gary and his title aspirations. Islam Makhachev obviously just captured the belt off of JDM. Morales, you got Morales, Prates, Shavkat, Garry. You even kind of got Ilya in there for Islam. But what do you guys think about this whole 170 thing after Saturday seeing Ian Gary get that big dub?
Still,
I think I think that like he should definitely be on the short list for a title shot next. I think that he personally is more deserving than anybody else. Um, I think that I would give it to him next, to be honest, if I was the UFC. I think that even the nature of losing to Shavkat kind of works as a benefit to him, as that fight was competitive. And I think that being competitive against Shavkat is, but coming up short, having his back in the fifth round, like damn near subbing his ass, that is better to me than like a win over like a Sean Brady is to me. You know what I mean? That means more. I rate that higher. I rate Ian Gary's loss to Shavkat more than I rate like Michael Morales booming Sean Brady like that. You know what I mean? So I think that he did not take that much damage. I mean, the story is there. You know what I mean? The rivalry is there. The Irish Muslims are gonna the Irish and the Muslims are gonna reignite their feud. This, albeit in a more respectful way. Ian Gary's not a disrespectful guy like Connor. He makes it very clear, like he's the type of guy like after we fucking fight, like I want to come train with you type shit and learn. So it's like he doesn't want to be burning bridges. I peeped that about him. He's smart like that. But and it will like cost the fight dollars. Like Connor was, he was gonna be, hey, he can't go to every country and shit, but like he has, a fuck ton of money to show for it. So
More reasons why I hate Gary.
I'm saying Garry is not willing to go full heel. You know what I mean? But it's okay. Like he doesn't have to. I think that he still deserves this fight, the next fight. I think that were Shavkat healthy, I think Shavkat needs to like maybe have one more like, remind the people fight. And I
Oh,
think that someone could fight JDM, and if they beat JDM, like they are the number one contender like through and through. So I think that that would be like I think that Ian Gary does deserve the next title shot, in my opinion.
I will say this. I do think the storyline of, you know, Connor, Gary, Ireland versus Khabib squad and Russia, it is definitely more interesting. And Ian can talk a little shit up there. He's not the most
Yeah.
respectful guy in the world. Like he will talk his shit. So that is a more interesting fight. But when I look at the rankings, number one, JDM just lost the belt. Ian Gary now number two, and who's right behind him? The only man to beat him, and it's been less than a year since then. Shavkat. Four Morales, five Bilal, six Prates. So in my mind, it really has to be between Shavkat and Gary, and he beat him. Like I just feel like that's enough, and I understand he's been out a while, but this dub literally came less than a year ago today. Like it hasn't even been a year since that fight has passed. So you got to give it to Shavkat, I think personally, just based on that. Like I get it. Ian Gary's the one fighting out there looking good, but guess who beat him? Guess who's the only one next to that record he's got? And while Shavkat is undefeated finishing everybody, he deserves it over these guys, 100%. But I would not be mad if they gave it to Gary. Like I said, I wouldn't be mad if Shavkat had to fight again because he's going to get there. We all know he's going to get there. Take that belt right off Islam. He'll never get it back. And then we finish it off with Hamzat at 180. Take
I
care of
would
him real quick.
I wouldn't even be mad if they gave Usman to Shavkat and let him just like put Usman down or let Usman prove that he's still here with it. You know what I mean? That would be a good fight in my mind. That would be a fair compensation. You know what I mean? You get to fight an old head to prove yourself the same way that Ian Gary just did, basically. fight a fucking old gen fighter. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same, a former champ. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the same little realm. I feel like.
I think both of you are correct. It's either Shavkat or Garry. I'm extremely torn on who I think they will give it to next. I think I'm leaning. I think they should give it to Shavkat, but like the winner gets Garry gets the winner. Like Gary's next fight will be for a title, I think. And I just feel like Islam's first title defense. I think Shavkat would be really cool. I just feel like there's more aura to that fight. There's more to gain if you beat Shavkat. And if I'm Islam, I think Shavkat's a little more vulnerable right now. With because if he were to come back and then get a dominant win over a contender, I think that would boost Shavkat's like stock. So if I'm Islam, I'm taking a Shavkat fight before Ramadan, and then in the summer I'm fighting Ian Garry. I think that's a good Islam.
I think that you just completely laid out like the why exactly the opposite would be better on both accounts. One, I think that like you said you would give Ian Gary the winner of that fight no matter what, right? But I
Yeah.
think that like if Shavkat beat Ian Gary in the past, not too long ago, but then like he's the champion, and then Ian Gary's fighting him again. That's not the type of matchup that the UFC typically likes to make. Like they don't like to make rematches like that, where like I think that that same fight has a lot more intrigue if Gary enters the fight as the champion now, and Shavkat's a person who beat him. I also think that by you saying that like this is a downtime for this is a downtime for Shavkat, like I think that that makes it a much more risky fight. Like one, I think that the fight's just harder for Islam in general, and two, like Islam is one of their bigger stars, and I think that to risk like right now, if Shavkat beat him, like people would look at like damn, like there's a lot of people in the MMA community, like new fans and shit, that don't even know like who Shavkat really is that much at the end of the day. Like it's kind of always like that. There's always new fans every like 2 years, every 2 years or so. So it's like I think that if Shavkat were to go out, get a dominant performance, then his fight against either Gary or Islam would be a much bigger and more financially lucrative fight for the UFC. And I think that that's why Ian Gary makes more money now and it makes more sense now. Just because like recency bias equals dollars.
Look, I would be cool with it. I would not be disappointed. I'd be who would you put him up against though?
Oh,
Shavkat,
Yeah.
I mean,
Usman for sure.
I just said Usman just because like
I mean, Usman's like down at 8 now.
I mean, but that's the game we're playing, man. If he's floating around title shots, then like this is how you get one. You want a title shot? Beat Shavkat and get that motherfucker. If not, you know what I mean? Like that's what we gotta do. That's how we gotta weed these old heads out or make them shit or get off the pot, bro. Because if Usman could just if he can just fucking um Joaquin Buckley his way into a title shot. He's gonna keep doing that. If we let these old heads skeet on by without fighting the up and coming contenders, they will keep doing that. So it's like no, like if you actually want a title shot, if you're actually serious about being at the top of the sport, like give him Shavkat in a title eliminator. Like you know what I mean?
Shit. If I'm Islam's camp, I'm telling them, yeah, give me Usman. Give me Usman as my first title defense. He's a legend. He deserves it. But like,
That's what he's saying. But it's also like that thing about the name shit as well, and the
he's just
Ali grimy factor. Never forget that. Never forget the Ali grimy factor. That shouldn't even be a thing, but it is. We have to talk about it all the time.
he is in there. But
Look, if Usman gets this title shot, it's already an asterisk on the record book for
I'm
that
saying,
week.
but if he beat one of these guys, like if he beat a Michael Morales or a Shafkat, like would you feel the same way? Or would you be like, no, he deserves it now?
Usman. Yeah, if he beats one of those two, I would say he deserves it.
Oh,
Exactly my
Usman.
point. So
Oh, Usman.
let's get in there and mix it up, Usman. Like
Oh,
I think you can
yeah.
do it. Do you think you can do it? Like let me know something.
Him versus Morales would be
A fuck.
That'd be an insane fight. So I thought
I think
Brady.
I think him versus Shavkat would be a better fight because it's like he can test Shavkat's grappling and like he can test him on the feet. Shavkat definitely hittable. Like I think that can be like a big prove it fight for Shavkat, honestly.
If I'm Islam, yeah, I'm either. I guess I'm trying to get that Shameless Usman fight, or I'm trying to get the Shavkat fight before he gets a comeback fight. Because I think Shavkat's most vulnerable right now, and it's his biggest threat. Because the Gary fight will always be there because of the things you said, the popularity, the aura.
Hey, you see the tweets though after the JDM fight? Like, congrats, Islam. But I am still the biggest challenge at 170. Just cold, just cold. Drop the mic.
Yeah,
We're
that was
like,
so
give us whoever. Fuck
Man,
it.
is he
Fuck it.
okay? Someone pick your man's up. He needs some milk. Like, is he cool? Like, is he okay? Can he fight?
Yeah,
Because
can we get the
man,
fight announcement with Shavkat first? Nick, I'm
that's
sorry,
what I'm
but
saying. Man wants to come to
Healthy.
the fight. Wants
He's
to wants
coming
to wants
back.
to come to the fucking fight. Me mugging the champ. And I don't even know if he was me mugging, but I know he was just there watching the fight and shit. And like
He's growing his
I'm
bones.
saying, making himself like he was making himself visible for a reason. You know what I mean? That should give me some type of a vibe. Like, would he really come in that bitch if he had like a limp and shit, a visible limp and shit? Like, probably not. So it's like, how close is the man? Like, then we can start
he's
having
gotta
some
be ready,
conversation.
man.
5 February guaranteed.
Damn near put Shavkat on the same car as the next title defense, and then he could be the damn late notice replacement if some fuckery or shenanigans happens.
That is fine by me. And he should have already gotten the title fight, but Bilal pulled out with his weak ass eyebrow excuse or whatever his issue was. But
Did
all
you
right.
guys did you guys see after the fight the Hamza and Ian Gary stuff backstage?
Yeah, I did see that.
They got into a bit of a shoving match.
I'll be honest, that whole thing might have been a clip for both of them. They might have secretly quickly went off camera and been like, okay, so now I'm gonna push you. Yeah. Do
It was
think
pretty pointless.
because it was like weird. It was like they were just talking normally, and then like a guy gets between them, and then
How's
Hamza
that pushes them?
pushes them. Like it's just
Got like or Hamza got pissed.
Yeah,
I don't
it looked like friendly banter. I don't know what Ian Gary was saying, but Hamzat kind of got pissed, man. I don't know if I don't know with Hamzat how much of that shit is authenticity, to be honest. Like I feel like he might just be on some tough guy shit sometimes. Me mugging people and being a bully back there, to
Oh,
be honest.
he's definitely a prick, I bet, like to other fighters.
I'm saying like I don't even think Kevin like I know Kevin Holland be talking shit, but like I
Hamza's like mean, like
I
actually
think I
mean.
think Hamza like is like a douchebag probably. I fuck with him. I love him to death. One of my favorite fighters in the UFC for sure. Like in my
Hey,
top three, but like I will just say like damn, like I do think he is a dickhead backstage. Cause like who's gonna whoop his ass? And I'm sure if you feel like that, like you can talk shit back there. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, no one's gonna stand up to him. But hey, to Hamzat's credit, maybe Ian Gary's just that fucking annoying that he like his presence, that little conversation made him want to put hands on him. So maybe Hamzat should have fucking double legged him right there.
I don't know. That whole thing was scripted to me. I bet they had like a whole combo walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden the camera comes up. I don't know. That was just a weird interaction that just seems so fake to me.
Where do we see that fight going, guys? At 185.
Hamzat easy.
At 185. I mean, yeah, I think either way it's fucked, but I think at 185 it's definitely fucked. At 170, like Hamzat, some cardio issues. I still think he wins that fight, like, but I mean, like, it's a little bit more interesting.
If it was at 170, I would give Gary like maybe 3% to win.
Damn.
He's got zero at 180.
At 185, he has no chance.
At 185, zero.
So I think we all agreed Morales and Prates, they're almost there in terms of getting a title shot. They're like one win away. They're young enough. They're exciting enough. That's fine. What is the chances of the wild card Ilya Taporia stepping in here? Like we just discussed both their divisions having a lot of contenders. but no one is stopping talking about this. Everyone keeps talking about this fight. It's not going away.
I think it's like 25% maybe. Like I just feel like we can't just hold these divisions up because like people want to just keep flopping around and shit. Like especially like Taporia, like he's just never stayed in a division. Like I'm cool if Islam does it at this point. If he just wanted to go up to middleweight to fight Hamzat, that's a sick fight, by the way. Like I'm cool with that because he actually stayed in a division for a respectable amount of time, fought contenders off, good contenders as well. He deserves it, but Topuria, I mean, he has fought good contenders, obviously, but he just hasn't stayed around in his division. Like we need to, he needs to get, he needs to stay there. Like him versus Arman's a good fight. Him versus Patty. Like there's a lot of matchups there for them to get made. So I know everyone wanted to see. I feel like people just want to see that fight because it should have happened before when Islam was obviously at lightweight. But I don't know. That's in the past. Like people need to forget about that. If it happens, it happens. That's cool. But
If it happens, I only want to see it happen at welterweight. I do not ever want to see Islam cut weight again,
Agreed.
back down to lightweight. Even if it was at some type of like 165 type like catch weight or something, maybe even. But like I don't want to see Islam deplete himself down to lightweight again. Um, so I think that the only way I would really want to see it is if Ilya was coming up in weight. And I think that like a big Islam has an even bigger chance of winning that fight. So I think it would even like lessen Ilya's chances of winning it even more. So at that point, it's like, what's even the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but on the flip side though, like I do think that Ilya has work to do in his division. I would like to see Islam fight these welterweight contenders, but one, you do risk one of them losing, and two, the older that Islam gets out of his prime, the more likely that like a fluke knockout on some old, 36, 37-year-old Islam could be potentially there. So if they're gonna run it, I would rather them run it right now in their primes. But like I do also at the same time think that there's other things that I would rather see both of them do. So like I am fine with just charging this to the game. Like it's one of those ones that like shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm
Yeah.
fine with it if we never get this fight.
Alrighty. All right, guys. So let's move on to the rest of the video. We're going to talk about the rest of UFC Qatar. Pretty fun card. What stuck out to you guys in the rest of the card?
Yeah, man.
definitely Waldo.
Shout out Waldo. Yeah,
Waldo,
we
shout
can
out
start with that.
Waldo. Waldo's fucking here, bro. Waldo is here, and he is here to fucking stay. Like this man got his big boy power now, man. And he is making hell for these heavyweights.
That is third win of the year, I think.
Uh,
I think so. Hold on, let me
Second
see.
or third.
probably yeah.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, 2 days.
Wait, no, fourth win, fifth win of the year,
Fuck.
fifth win of the year, bro.
What?
Span in March, Spivak in June, Pavlovich. Oh, no, win. He lost to Pavlovich, but he fought hella this year
Yeah.
though.
Still, that's.
He
I
lost
didn't
to
even know he
Pavlovich.
fought 5 times.
He fought fucking 5 times, so that's his fourth win of the year though, because he did lose to Pavlovich, but. He had
There-
some. He looked like he belonged in the Pavlovich fight. He didn't just get washed.
He just one shot at Gaziev. That was fucked up. That was hilarious.
Bro, imagine Gaziev, man. You think you're gonna fight? I don't know who is he supposed to fight? Spivak?
Speedball.
You think you're gonna fight fucking Spivak, and then Waldo flies across the world and booms you in front of your people, bro, on like 2 days' notice? Like, oh my god.
That
In
was weird.
shambles, bro. He probably thought he had a win for himself, bro, for sure. And Waldo came in fucking shook that snow globe for
Yeah.
sure.
Waldo's the definition this year of like taking advantage of opportunities. Like
Yeah.
he's just out here fighting.
And I mean, I think that especially if you're like getting first round KOs on some heavyweight shit and not taking any damage, that's how you like. I think that activity is your friend when you're not taking damage. Now, when you're going through wars and you're being too active, and you're fighting championship fights and shit, going 5 rounds, 5 round camps, beating your body up, not letting injuries heal, you're on the rat race. Then okay, like too much activity can work to a fighter's detriment. But when you're like on the rise, I think that if you can like finish fights quickly, like don't you miss the days when Hamza will fight multiple times in like 14 days? Like, damn it, it was special. You know what I mean? You got to do that type of shit when you're on the rise if you want to like make yourself known. You know what I mean? I was just saying, like, I was just explaining to my friend, like, he was like, I think that fighters should fight like a little less for their own health. I was like, I think it's the opposite. Like, you need to be getting in there as much as possible. Like, if you fight once a year, and there's fighters like this, they fight once a year, they get an impressive victory, and then they disappear. And I damn near forget about them by the time they fight again. Like, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot. Like, you know what I mean? I know who you are. I remember you. It's just like the sport moves so fast. So it's like you can get pushed out of the rankings just with inactivity. So it's like, when a guy is like, on the rise, he's getting quick finishes. If you fight 4 times in a year, 5 times in a year, that's notoriety. That's building your brand. You know what I mean? Like Waldo, damn near gonna be damn near a household name if he keeps this strength of schedule up. Same way Kevin Holland's a household name at this point amongst MMA fans because like, is he the best fighter? No, but he's in there all the time. You always see Kevin Holland fighting, so he stays top of the mind. And I mean, Waldo is becoming a version of 2020 Kevin Holland, man. Activity, wins, and pizzazz. And I'm happy for him.
Yeah, in a division that like desperately needs some shit like this.
Everybody needs it
Yeah.
bad.
Uh,
Also, just one thing, he's also fighting every 2 months, it looks, between these fights, which is insane.
Let's
Yeah, big
go.
ups to him. I honestly think he could beat Pavlovich in a rematch. I think ever since that fight, he's looked even better and stronger. So
and Pavlovich just hasn't looked like himself since the Aspinall knockout. He just hasn't.
he hasn't.
What about you, Nick? What stuck out to you on the card?
Uh, I think one of the cooler stories,
Or Gucci.
yeah, coming back to the UFC, and just running through Olenbekov like nothing, honestly, like complete domination, control striking, just everything was on point. Finished him with a rear naked choke. Was it off the knockdown or?
Yeah, I think he like head kicked him or some shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like I think it was just a left high head kick and went down for a sec, and then they wrestled a little bit, but then eventually got the sub. Just super impressed by him, and he's already in there, and we know flyweight needs some contenders in there, and I think his experience is big, and he looked good. Olemakov is not the best striker, but he's no like slouch as a fighter, so pretty impressive.
What else? Shout out Volkan.
Shout out Luke Riley, man. This kid looks impressive, man. 11-0 now out of England. The,
Patty,
the hottest little new English prospect. I mean, the man can fucking bang. He can crack, bro. He can crack. Um, Bogdan Grad tried to wrestle fuck him round one. He showed that like he even though he might get taken down, like he's known to get taken down, but he's always like he's good at getting back to his feet. He doesn't settle on the ground, and when he gets back up, he throws fucking bombs. And he's one of those fighters that like gives wrestlers hell because like if you can't hold him down, like you're gonna get gas, especially at the lower levels. If you keep trying to wrestle fuck him because you're so afraid of his hands, and he gets better and better at defending those takedowns or getting back up, and you get tired and he has like cardio, like he could be really dangerous. So definitely a featherweight to watch for sure. He looked really impressive here.
There
All
is a man coming in the light heavyweight division, and it's not Zurzik. Is this man Yakayev? This dude looks like a complete package fighter, just insane. Like he just went at Buddy like it was nothing, like a walk in the park. Oh, I'm just gonna piece you up real quick, head kick. Oh, and now I'm just gonna sub you easily.
Facts.
Like didn't even break a sweat. Like literally, like just walked across. And everything I've seen about him so far, and I don't know if this was his debut or I know he was a contender series guy.
I think it was.
Okay, and he looks like a beast, honestly. Like he's one to watch for at light heavyweight. Very big as well. You know, he's an Av, I believe. You know, he's from Turkey, it says, but he's an Av of some sort.
He's an Ev. He's an Ev.
Yeah. And so he looked really good, I thought. And light heavyweight, I also feel like is division that, needs prospects and
for
yeah,
sure.
really good one here.
Anything else, guys? You guys want to touch on?
Shout out fucking Pantoja. He looks really impressive at bantamweight. Um,
You mean Victoria?
I
Oh
mean, yeah,
yeah,
Poirier. Yeah, he looked good, man. If he can get a little bit higher output, like he could be real dangerous at this weight division. I think he has power in his hands. Similar like plotting style to like his brother Ilya. Um, he puts a lot of pressure on his opponents. Like his opponent was no slouch, Bekzat Almakan. Like
yeah,
he's a fucking dog in and of its own right. So this was like two prospects, two highly touted prospects fighting each other. And Taporia definitely is looked at as the worst Taporia brother, and for obvious reasons. But I mean, he's proven that he's a good fighter in his own right. Unlike all, like there are a lot of brother, unlike the bomb themes, for example, like where one is clearly better, like way better than the other. It's like he can actually be like kind of dangerous at this bantamweight division. Um, I think that even though he doesn't throw a lot of output, the way he was like stalking, he keeps his hands high, stays pretty defensively sound, and just stalks his opponents around the cage with like power shots. And I mean, he has like decent grappling as well. And I mean, like I just think that his style puts a lot of pressure on the cardio. If you don't have like phenomenal cardio, he can give a lot of these guys problems. So shout outs to him. Um, Building his own name in his own right, you know what I mean? Separate from his brother.
sure.
I
And
agree.
lastly, shout out Azu Amabayev, man. Doing the damn thing. Beat
He's
Alex,
losing that fight.
a tough Alex Perez. You think he was losing? I thought it was maybe 1-1 going into the last round, but yeah, it was close as
Yeah,
hell.
close. Yeah, that's fine.
And like I was worried for my parlay, but then boom, jumping like standing gilly, man. Gotta love it. Scrappy Kazakhs. The scrappy Kazakhs. Gotta love them.
That was a cool submission.
All right, well, guys, that concludes the video. Let us know who you think should get the next title shot at those two divisions. Please go check out the TikTok and happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.